When Adam finally cuts Jeremiah off, it's not just a small argument. It's a moment filled with pain, tension, and silence so heavy that even the walls of the summer house seem to feel it. This is not just two people fighting, it's about trust breaking, about family bonds being tested, and about the kind of choice that changes relationships forever. The scene takes us back into the world of The Summer I Turned Pretty, a story that has always balanced the sweetness of young love with the weight of family secrets and broken hearts. At first glance, the summer house feels like a place of laughter, beaches and golden sunsets, but just underneath, cracks have been forming for a long time. And in this particular moment, those cracks finally split wide open. Adam, who often tries to keep things steady, has been carrying unspoken frustration. Jeremiah, on the other hand, has always wanted to be seen and heard, but his choices have put him at odds with those around him. The tension between them doesn't just come out of nowhere, it builds slowly. Through misunderstandings, hurtful words, and the quiet resentment that grows when feelings are left unspoken for too long. Imagine the summer house, late in the evening. The air is heavy with humidity, the kind that makes silence feel thicker than usual. Jeremiah walks into the room, expecting maybe another conversation that will pass without much change. But Adam is different this time. His posture is firm, his tone sharper, and his eyes no longer carry the softness Jeremiah has grown used to. Every word that Adam says in that moment cuts deeper than Jeremiah expects. It's not just anger, it's disappointment. And that's what hurts the most. When someone you love gets angry, you can argue back. But when they're disappointed, it feels like you've already lost. That's the energy filling the room. The cutoff is not dramatic in the sense of shouting or throwing things. Instead, it's the kind of quiet that feels louder than any scream. Adam's words are final, his choice unshaken, and Jeremiah is left standing in a silence that says more than any argument could. It's the realization that sometimes people don't walk away because they hate you. They walk away because they can't carry the weight anymore. This moment it's more than just a fight. It's a turning point. For Jeremiah, it's the shock of realizing that love, whether it's from family or friends, has limits. For Adam, it's the burden of protecting himself, of setting a boundary that feels like tearing something important apart. And for us, the viewers, it's a reminder that growing up means learning that relationships, no matter how deep, can break if they are pushed too far. The brilliance of this scene is in its stillness. No grand gestures, no long speeches. Just a quiet decision that echoes louder than anything else. Adam cuts Jeremiah off, and in that silence, the summer house no longer feels like home. It feels like the place where everything changed. The story deepens. When we step into the heart of the conflict between Adam and Jeremiah, this moment isn't just about one conversation or one heated evening, it's about everything. That has been simmering under the surface for months, maybe even years. What we see here is the explosion of emotions that both characters have been trying to push aside, hoping they would somehow fix themselves. But pain doesn't go away when you ignore it. It grows. And in this moment, it has grown too big to be contained. Jeremiah has always carried himself with charm, with a kind of brightness that draws people toward him. He knows how to make others laugh. He knows how to be the center of attention. And he knows how to use his heart to connect with those around him. But charm has its limits. And in Adam's eyes, Jeremiah's choices have crossed lines that can't be ignored anymore. Whether it's broken promises, reckless decisions, or the way Jeremiah puts his feelings above everyone else's. Adam has had enough. The conflict begins not with yelling, but with words that are too sharp to be softened. Adam's voice is steady, almost too steady, like someone who has rehearsed what they wants to say for a long time. "I can't do this anymore," he says, and the words land on Jeremiah like stones. For Jeremiah, the meaning behind those words is heavier than anything else Adam could have thrown at him. It isn't about the fight they're having right now. It's about every disappointment, every moment when Adam felt let down. Every second he swallowed his pain just to keep the peace. Jeremiah tries to defend himself. His voice is shaky, but filled with desperation. He wants Adam to understand that he didn't mean to hurt anyone, that his choices weren't meant to cause harm. But Adam isn't listening, not because he doesn't care, but because he's already made his decision. This is the part of the story where the balance between forgiveness and boundaries shifts. And Adam decides he can't carry Jeremiah's mistakes anymore. The conflict is more than personal, it's symbolic. Jeremiah represents the side of love that is messy, emotional, and sometimes careless. Adam represents the side of love that is steady, rational, and grounded in responsibility. When these two forces collide, it isn't just about who wins the argument. It's about which side of love can survive in a world where feelings are constantly being tested. Inside the summer house, the energy changes. The air feels heavier. The silence between words becomes unbearable. And even the smallest gestures, like Adam turning his head away when Jeremiah tries to look at him, cut deeper than the sharpest insult. This is the kind of conflict that doesn't need shouting to feel brutal. It's the quiet rejection that hurts the most. For Jeremiah, the fear becomes real. What if Adam truly means it? What if this isn't just a fight, but the end of something he thought was unbreakable? His heart races as he searches for the right words to fix the situation, but sometimes words aren't enough. Sometimes, no matter what you say, the damage has already been done. The conflict shows us how fragile relationships can be when trust is broken. Adam's choice to cut Jeremiah off isn't just about this one moment. It's about protecting himself from being hurt again. And while it may look cold from the outside, it's actually filled with hidden pain. Because cutting someone off is never easy. It means choosing yourself, but it also means losing someone you once loved deeply in the end. This section of the story is about how two people who once shared laughter, memories, and love now stand on opposite sides of a line that can't be crossed. Adam has drawn his boundary, and Jeremiah, for the first time, realizes that his actions have consequences he can't undo. This is the conflict at its rawest. One man standing firm, the other breaking apart, and both of them realizing that nothing will ever be the same again. Every story has a moment when the balance tips, when things cannot go back to the way they once were. For Adam and Jeremiah, this is the turning point. It doesn't come with a loud scream or a dramatic slam of the door. It comes in the stillness, in the quiet yet final way. Adam delivers his decision. The moment starts with a silence so sharp it feels like another character in the room. Jeremiah's words hang in the air, desperate, unfinished, as if hoping that Adam might soften, might change his mind. But Adam's eyes don't waver. His body language is calm but unyielding. The kind of calm that only comes when someone has already made peace with their choice long before speaking it out loud. "I can't keep doing this," Adam says, his voice heavy but steady. It's not loud, not aggressive, but it carries the weight of every memory. It's every disappointment, every broken moment that led them here. These words don't just cut through the silence. They mark the line Jeremiah cannot cross anymore. Jeremiah, usually quick to respond, finds himself frozen. For the first time, he feels powerless, like no amount of apology or explanation can undo the finality in Adam's tone. His heart beats fast, his chest tightens, but nothing comes out of his mouth. It's as though Adam's words have stolen the very breath he needs to fight back. The turning point isn't just about turning Jeremiah off, it's about the realization that relationships are not endless. They have limits, boundaries, breaking points. For Adam, this is the moment where self-preservation wins over loyalty, where protecting his own heart means letting go of someone who has hurt him too deeply. Visually, you can imagine the tension filling the summer house like a storm that has finally broken. The glow of the evening light feels colder now. The laughter that once filled these rooms is replaced by the quiet weight of this confrontation. Even the walls seem to echo with the finality of Adam's words. Jeremiah's face reveals the storm inside him. His eyes widen, then narrow, then soften into something closer to heartbreak. He takes a step forward, then stops, realizing that no matter how close he stands, the distance between them is already too wide. His hands tremble slightly, as if reaching out could fix what has been broken, but he doesn't move. Deep down, he knows this is the end of something important. For Adam, the turning point is not about anger, it's about acceptance. He doesn't shout, he doesn't lash out. Instead, he delivers his truth with a quiet strength that is impossible to argue with. He has carried this weight for too long, and cutting Jeremiah off isn't about punishment, it's about survival. Sometimes the hardest decision isn't whether you love someone, but whether you can keep sacrificing yourself to hold on to them. The power of this scene lies in its subtlety. Nothing explodes. Nothing shatters in the physical sense. But emotionally, everything does. This is the crack that breaks the foundation. The turning point isn't the loudest moment, it's the quietest. And that's what makes it unforgettable. From this point forward, nothing will be the same. Jeremiah knows he has lost something that cannot be replaced. Adam knows he has stepped onto a path that is both freeing and painful. Their relationship, once filled with warmth and closeness, now stands at the edge of a cliff with no way back to solid ground. For viewers, this turning point is where the story hooks deeper into our emotions. We don't just watch Adam cut Jeremiah off. We feel the weight of every unspoken word, every broken promise, every tear that doesn't fall but hangs heavy in the air. It is a reminder that sometimes the most powerful moments are not the ones filled with action, but the ones where silence carries more than words ever could. This turning point is not just the climax of their conflict. It's the moment that redefines everything that comes after. Adam has drawn the line. Jeremiah has been cut off. And the summer house, once a symbol of love and togetherness, now becomes the place where everything fell apart. For Jeremiah, the aftermath of Adam's decision feels like stepping into a storm with no shelter. The weight of those words, "I can't keep doing this," echoes in his mind long after they're spoken. It is not just a sentence. It is a wall closing in on him, a sudden reminder that the people we think will always be there for us sometimes choose to walk away at first. Jeremiah doesn't move. He stands in the same spot, trying to process what just happened. His mind races through every memory, every fight, every attempt to hold on to Adam, as if replaying the past might change the present. But the more he remembers, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just another argument. This is final. The impact hits him in waves. The first wave is shock. Jeremiah has always believed that no matter how bad things got, Adam would never leave him. That belief was his anchor, the one thing he thought was unshakable. Now, that anchor is gone, and he feels himself drifting into uncertainty. The second wave is guilt. He replays his choices, his mistakes, his careless words. Searching for the exact moment he lost Adam? Was it something small, a detail he ignored? Or was it something bigger, a pattern of behavior he refused to change? Every possibility cuts deeper, because no matter which memory he focuses on, the outcome is the same. He's alone in this moment. Then comes the third wave. Grief. And it isn't quiet grief. It's the kind that tightens his chest, burns his throat, and makes the room feel smaller, colder. Grief is not always about losing someone to death. It's also about losing them while they're still standing right in front of you. Jeremiah feels that loss like a sharp blade, carving into him with every second Adam refuses to look back. His body shows the cracks. His words cannot. His shoulders slump. His breathing becomes shallow. And his eyes, usually filled with fire and life, dim into something fragile, almost childlike. This is the moment Jeremiah realizes that apologies, promises, or pleas cannot fix everything. Some choices have consequences too big to be undone. The impact is not only emotional, but symbolic. Jeremiah has always been the character who lives through his emotions, who acts on impulse, who believes love is enough to hold everything together. But here, love isn't enough. Love collides with responsibility, boundaries, and disappointment. And Jeremiah is left to face the truth. Feelings alone cannot save a relationship. Visually, you can picture him standing in the half-light of the summer house, shadows stretching across the walls as if the house itself is mourning with him. His reflection in the window looks unfamiliar, almost like a stranger, someone broken, someone lost. He presses his hands against the glass as though reaching for something outside, something he can't quite touch. The silence after Adam's departure is louder than the confrontation itself. Every creak of the wooden floor, every distant sound of waves outside feels like a cruel reminder of the emptiness now inside him. He wants to scream, to run after Adam, to to demand another chance. But deep down, Jeremiah knows chasing won't fix it. Adam's choice wasn't made in the heat of the moment. It was made over time. Through countless disappointments Jeremiah never noticed. This realization carves itself into him like a scar. The boy who always believed he could charm his way back into people's hearts finally understands that some doors, closed, never open again. And the pain of that truth sits heavier than anything he has ever carried. What makes the impact so devastating is not just losing. It's losing the version of himself that existed when Adam still believed in him. Jeremiah now has to face a new reality where he isn't just cut off by Adam, he's cut off from the comfort of being forgiven, from the safety of knowing someone will always catch him when he falls. For viewers, watching Jeremiah break in this moment is heartbreaking because it mirrors real life. We've all faced the sting of rejection, the ache of watching someone we love decide they've had enough. Jeremiah becomes more than a character, he becomes a mirror of our own moments of loss, of standing frozen as someone we care about walks away. The impact of Adam's decision will shape Jeremiah's story moving forward. Every choice he makes, every relationship he enters, will carry the shadow of this moment. Because once you've been cut off by someone you thought was unshakable, trust never feels the same again. And so Jeremiah stands there, broken but silent, holding the weight of a goodbye that was never spoken aloud, yet felt in every beat of his heart. This is the moment that defines him, the moment where heartbreak becomes more than just pain. It becomes a lesson, one he never wanted, but one he can never forget. The fight between Adam and Jeremiah may feel deeply personal, but it's more than just two people clashing. This moment is a reflection of the bigger themes that The Summer I Turned Pretty has always carried at its heart: love, family, betrayal, and the painful process of growing up. To understand why this confrontation matters so much, we have to step back and look at the larger picture. From the very beginning, this story has never been about perfect relationships. It has been about the meanders of life, the way love can heal, but also how it can hurt. Adam cutting Jeremiah off doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's a symbol of what happens when trust and loyalty are stretched too thin. It shows us that even the closest bonds can snap under pressure. Love is one of the clearest themes here. Jeremiah has always been driven by it. His actions, whether right or wrong, come from a place of feeling deeply. He loves recklessly, sometimes selfishly, sometimes blindly. Adam, on the other hand, represents a different kind of love: steady, cautious, protective. When these two forces collide, we see the limits of what love alone can fix. Love can bring people together, but without respect, balance, and boundaries, it can also push them apart. Then comes the theme of family. The summer house, the shared history, the memories, it all ties back to the idea that family isn't just about blood. It's about the bonds we build, the people we choose to let into our lives, and the trust we place in them. Adam cutting Jeremiah off is a painful reminder that family too can fracture. Even when you share a home, even when you share love, there comes a time when you must protect yourself, even if that means shutting out someone who feels like a part of you. Betrayal is another thread woven into this moment. To Adam, Jeremiah's actions have crossed lines that cannot be ignored. Whether it was dishonesty, selfish choices, or constant disappointment, Adam feels betrayed. And betrayal is not just about one act. It's about a pattern. It's about the slow erosion of trust until one day there's nothing left to hold on to. The cutoff is Adam's way of saying, I can't keep letting you hurt me. For Jeremiah, it feels like abandonment. But for Adam, it feels like survival. Most of all, this moment is about growing up. In our younger years, we believe love can conquer everything. We believe apologies will always be enough, and forgiveness will always come. But adulthood teaches us differently. It teaches us that sometimes walking away is the only way to protect your own peace. Adam embodies that hard lesson here, while Jeremiah is forced to confront it for the first time. This is not just a fight, it's a rite of passage into the painful truth that growing up means learning when to hold on and when to let go. The bigger picture also speaks to the audience on a personal level. Many who watch this scene see themselves in it. They've been Jeremiah, the one begging for another chance, shocked by the suddenness of being cut off. They've also been Adam, the one who finally says, enough, even though their heart still aches for the person they are leaving behind. This dual perspective makes the scene powerful because it doesn't paint anyone as the villain. Instead, it shows the complexity of human relationships, where right and wrong are rarely simple. Visually, the scene holds a kind of symbolism too. The summer house, once filled with laughter and light, becomes the stage for heartbreak. The same walls that held childhood memories now bear witness to loss. It's a reminder that places don't stay the same just because we want them to. They change with the emotions we carry into them. After this confrontation, the summer house will never feel quite the same again for Adam, for Jeremiah, or for anyone else connected to them. On a deeper level, the bigger picture reveals how this moment ties into the season's ongoing storylines. It isn't just about Adam and Jeremiah ripples outward, touching other characters, shifting dynamics, and reshaping how everyone interacts moving forward. One break in trust doesn't stay contained. It spreads, forcing everyone around them to adjust, to choose sides, or to heal in their own way. What makes this scene resonate so strongly is that it's universal. You don't need to be in Jeremiah's shoes or Adam's shoes specifically to understand it. You just need to have loved someone enough to be hurt by them, or to have reached the point where you had to walk away. That universality is what makes this moment linger long after the screen fades to black in the end. The bigger picture is clear. This is not just about Adam and Jeremiah. It's about the fragile, complicated, beautiful mess that is human connection. It's about how love can build us up, but also how it can break us apart. It's about learning that sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that protect us, even when they hurt the most. This scene becomes more than a turning point. In a story, it becomes a mirror, showing us the parts of ourselves we often keep hidden. And that is why Adam cutting off Jeremiah isn't just another dramatic moment. It's a defining one for the characters and for us as viewers. When this scene aired, the reaction from fans was immediate and intense. For many, Adam cutting off Jeremiah wasn't just another dramatic beat in The Summer I Turned Pretty. It was a moment that demanded discussion, debate, and emotional reflection. The fan community quickly turned into a space filled with divided opinions, heartfelt posts, and endless what-if conversations. Some fans saw Adam as the one finally standing up for himself. They praised him for drawing a line, for refusing to keep carrying the weight of Jeremiah's mistakes. To them, Adam represented strength, self-respect, and the courage it takes to protect yourself even when it breaks your own heart. They argued that Jeremiah needed this wake-up call, that without it, he would never truly understand the consequences of his actions. In countless comment threads and fan discussions, words like powerful, necessary, and long overdue kept surfacing, but others couldn't help but feel for Jeremiah. They saw a young man who had made mistakes, yes, but who also wore his heart on his sleeve. For these fans, Adam's decision felt too final, too cold. They connected with Jeremiah's desperation, his shock, his heartbreak. Many viewers admitted they cried during the scene, not because they disagreed with Adam, but because they knew what it felt like to be in Jeremiah's position, begging for another chance, only to realize the door had already closed. This split in fan reactions is what made the scene so powerful. It wasn't black and white. It wasn't about one character being right and the other being wrong. Instead, it lived in the messy gray area where real relationships exist. Fans debated endlessly. Should Adam have been more forgiving? Did Jeremiah deserve another chance? Was this really the end? Or just a temporary break? These questions fueled discussions long after the episode ended, proving how deeply the scene struck a chord. On social media, edits of the confrontation spread quickly. Fans clipped together montages of Adam's most emotional moments, overlaying them with songs about heartbreak and betrayal. Others focused on Jeremiah, creating fan videos that highlighted his charm, his vulnerability, and his pain in the aftermath. Each edit told the story from a different perspective, showing just how much room there was for interpretation. Fan art also exploded. Some artists depicted Jeremiah in the exact moment Adam turned away, capturing the raw heartbreak in his expression. Others drew symbolic images, like a broken anchor,
Ow.
representing Jeremiah's loss of stability, or two silhouettes drifting apart under a fading summer sky. Every creation was a way for fans to process the emotions the scene had stirred within them. The fan perspective also revealed something deeper. People weren't just talking about Adam and Jeremiah as fictional characters. They were talking about themselves. So many comments reflected personal experiences, times when they had to cut someone off, times when they had been the one left behind. The scene became a mirror for viewers' own lives, sparking empathy, healing, and sometimes even closure for those who had lived through similar moments. Some fans even argued that this was the most real scene of the series, in a story filled with love triangles, summer adventures, and romantic gestures. This moment stood out because it wasn't pretty. It wasn't tied up in a bow. It was messy, painful, and unresolved, just like real life. That rawness resonated deeply, reminding viewers that The Summer I Turned Pretty isn't only about love in its ideal form, but also about love in its hardest, most complicated moments. The debates weren't just about the characters, though they extended to broader themes. Fans questioned, what does it really mean to love someone? Is forgiveness limitless, or should there be boundaries? At what point does holding on cause more harm than letting go? These conversations went beyond the show, turning the scene into a cultural moment that reflected the way we all navigate relationships in the end. The fan perspective solidified this scene as one of the most unforgettable of the series. Whether people sided with Adam or Jeremiah, everyone agreed on one thing: it made them feel something. And that's the true power of storytelling. When a scene pulls you in so deeply that you cry, argue, debate, and create art because of it, you know it has done something extraordinary. So, from the fan perspective, Adam cutting off Jeremiah was more than just a turning point in the narrative. It was a moment that reached beyond the screen, into the hearts and lives of the viewers themselves. Jeremiah sits by the ocean. The same waves crashing that once gave him peace now feel like they are mocking him. His phone rests heavy in his hand, but there are no new messages, no missed calls, nothing. Adam has gone silent. The boy who once filled Jeremiah's days with laughter and light has cut him off completely, leaving nothing but echoes behind. Jeremiah scrolls through old texts, inside jokes, promises, late-night confessions. It almost feels like they belong to someone else, two strangers who never knew how fragile they really were. For Jeremiah, silence is more painful than any argument, because arguments at least mean there's still something left to fight for. But silence? Silence is final. It's Adam saying, "You don't matter anymore." Jeremiah tries to fight the thoughts, tries to remind himself of the moments Adam swore he cared, but every unanswered call chips away at that hope. The cut is deep, not just a small bruise, it's the kind that leaves a scar. It's the kind that changes how you look at people forever. And yet, deep down, Jeremiah still wonders if this is truly the end. Is Adam protecting himself? Is he hiding behind his pride? Or is this the moment Jeremiah must finally accept that love doesn't always last, no matter how much you want it to? The summer air feels heavier, the days longer, and for the first time, Jeremiah feels like the boy who always smiled can't find a reason to anymore.